Good afternoon, folks. I'm glad to be back with you again this quarter. I think we had a very interesting quarter with significant developments in the AeroMechanical story, and I'd like to walk through some of those developments with you today. We have our forward-looking statement as usual, and it'll be posted on the web. We will be talking about some forward-looking statements, so I want to make sure that everybody understands that as we go forward. We thought that what we'd like to do is describe what AMS does a little differently. We have what we call total connectivity between the aircraft and ground support. The data that an aircraft collects varies from the age of the aircraft and type of aircraft, but all of it is essential in how the aircraft's operated, how it's maintained, how the crews are communicated with. And what we do with our AFIRS unit is monitor that data, and based on what the customer wants to see and how they want to see it, we deliver it to them in a near real-time fashion. So the AFIRS unit is the hardware part. The uptime services is the ground-based software that delivers the information to the customers when and where they need it. This product has been accepted all over the world by customers. I'm going to talk a little bit about what the customers see and how they use the data a little bit further on. But I think the important part is to talk about the difference between an AFIRS equipped aircraft and an aircraft that doesn't have AFIRS on board. If you notice, the little blue dots on the screen are in a straight up and down line. That's because what aircraft flying across parts of the ocean where there's no radar coverage do is they radio in a position report, and that gets plotted on systems to know where that aircraft is. So in the bottom example, you can see that a 1 hour report between points leaves a pretty big radius circle on where that aircraft could be if something went wrong. With the AFIRS unit, we do a 5-minute report automatically. The crew doesn't have to interface with it. The line across the top of the screen shows an AFIRS equipped aircraft leaving from Italy, headed towards the US or wherever, with a 5-minute position reports. And notice the little jog where it had to go around a storm or some congested area. We keep track exactly of where that aircraft is and what's going on with the aircraft. You can also be in communication with the crew, both through text and voice message at any time, so you can find out what's going on with the aircraft, what's going on with the crew. Our system is deployed globally. The spots on the map show all of the aircraft that are equipped with AFIRS today. This was a snapshot in time taken from the Flight Explorer screens that shows all of the AFIRS equipped aircraft and where they were on the planet. One thing that this doesn't show is the Antarctic. We do have an aircraft that flies back and forth from Australia to the Antarctic, and luckily it was in Australia that day. You can see it parked at Sydney, but it does fly back and forth to the Antarctic during the Antarctic summer, and we do track and communicate with that aircraft. So one of the most exciting things that happened this quarter was we did get adoption by our first OEM. The OEM that did take our technology is Hawker Beechcraft. Hawker Beechcraft manufactures a lot of different aircraft type, but the aircraft that they're putting it on right now is what they call their 125 series aircraft. This is an excerpt from Hawker Beech's press release that they put out during the NBAA show on October 19th. You'll see that there's 4 types of business aircraft that they're going to be doing factory installs and offering as an option to their customers the AFIRS uptime technology. The first unit has actually been installed in the factory. We had crews down there working with Hawker Beech last week. It's planned to leave the factory on December 5th and be the first factory-equipped aircraft in service with the AFIRS unit on the planet. We're very excited about the relationship with Hawker Beech. Hawker has had a long look at what we're doing and how we're doing it, and sees this as a real benefit to themselves and their customers in being able to avoid unnecessary downtime on the aircraft, get things fixed if there's something on the aircraft that needs to be done, so that their customers have much greater access to their asset than they would without this kind of communication. Another thing that happened during the quarter, the preliminary report was put out by the Optimi Group, the Critical Event Detection and Reporting Consortium, CDAR, selected us as a partner to help with how do you link the data from transoceanic flights and get the information to the people that need it. We've worked very closely with them, and in the interim report, there was excerpts from the report talking about AFIRS 220 being a medium-term solution that would solve the problems of tracking aircraft across oceans and in areas where there's no other reporting systems. The reason it was put up as a medium-term solution was because there's not broad enough adoption of it across the various fleets for it to be an immediate solution, but certainly the technology passed the test, the capabilities passed the test, and with 25 operators worldwide, it is a commercially accepted product. We are the only ones on the planet today that have a device deployed on aircraft that can stream data, and we continue to enhance and refine those. I'm going to talk about that a bit more when I get to talk about our partner L3. Every quarter there's questions asked, and I thought I'd just put up the frequently asked questions. Everybody wants to know what's happening with China, what's going on with the AerCap deal, are we doing anything with the OEMs, what sales are coming, and what's going on with the AFIRS 228. So I'm going to go through and talk about each of those. China has installed 2 systems. There's 2 more shipments on the way to them. What they're doing is they're evaluating the flight stream capabilities as a potential mandated solution for Chinese airspace. When they saw flight stream in July and August, when we went over and demonstrated it working on their own aircraft, they saw some potential for this, that the Chinese airlines could save a lot of time and effort and work in producing the FOQA files that they typically have to provide to the government for all flights if they did onboard, online, real-time FOQA. And the AFIRS unit has the capability of doing that. FOQA is another acronym, and I've been in aviation too long now, I guess, because I talk in acronyms. FOQA is the Flight Operations Quality Assurance, and what it does is people go through all of the details after a flight to see if there's been things that have been done that cause safety hazards or things that should be fixed on the aircraft. And what our system does is does that in real time, sends that information to the ground, and with FlightStream, you can go backwards in time and collect the data around when the event occurred so that you could actually do real-time online FOQA reporting. The next topic that people want to know about all the time is AerCap. In March of this year, we announced that we had been selected by AerCap on their passenger to freight or P2F program, and then things went silent. And it was a situation outside of our control and outside of AerCap's control, where they had signed up to do work with Airbus to do these passenger to freight conversions, but then didn't have any customers. So what you've got on the screen in front of you right now is an article from Aviation Week dated the 20th of October that talks about the fact that there is now a signed customer, and we've gone back into full force mode of getting this program up and running with AerCap. It hasn't been signed yet. There's ongoing work and a lot of things happening, and I can't tell you when it's going to sign because it's outside of our control, but the program's back on, and we're by all means a big part of that program. The other question that I constantly gets asked is, what about the other OEMs? We've got Hawker Beach. Now what's going to happen with the other OEMs? And I can tell you that there is work going on pretty well constantly amongst these and other OEMs. There's interest from Embraer. Boeing has had presentations. We've got teams working with the Boeing teams around what we can do and how we can do it. Communication is becoming a critical issue for the OEMs, and there's things that we've been doing with live TV and Iridium on higher bandwidth communications. We've been working with L3 on producing through the open port capabilities, the ability to download voice, data, and video from an aircraft in real time. And we're working on a couple of examples with OEMs to be able to do that, to show the capabilities of the higher bandwidth open port capabilities that Iridium has brought out. Airbus is a partner in the Optimi CDAR consortium and continues to look at what we're doing and decide what they're going to do from a technology point of view. Meetings between L3 and the Airbus folks have pushed forward. How are they going to solve the problem of not knowing where the aircraft is? Bombardier has announced that the C-Series will have data streaming on it. L3 is the FDR partner with Bombardier, and we presented together a proposal a little over a year ago that we feel is definitely in the running. We haven't been told we've won, but we've certainly been working hard with Bombardier to get that done. Several other of the business aircraft OEMs are interested in what we're doing since the Hawker Beach presentations, and we're continuing to work with them. The other question is always what's going on with the sales? Where are the sales? And I think we had a good year this year. Earlier in the year we announced that we had a contract with the Nigerian government to put in their operations control center. That is ongoing. We actually had a crew have a crew leaving on Saturday this week to set up the Operations Control Center. That's going to assist us in getting the 3 African carriers that we have signed today up and running, as well as attract new customers in that part of the world that need to meet the new mandated flight following requirements in that part of the world. In this quarter, we announced signing the largest contract in AMS's history with a large Dash 8 fleet operator in Europe. We did the first installation, and we've been working with their operations control group and their pilots union to get the manuals up to date and the usage rules in place. Things are moving forward slowly, but it is moving forward to get all those installations going over the next 12 to 18 months. There was an announcement during the National Business Aircraft Association show that we've got additional orders from our Middle East military operator. They're expanding the use of the product, they're expanding the size of the fleet, and we feel that there is a huge market for us in the C-130 marketplace, and we continue to work with partners to get that marketplace moving faster for us. As I mentioned, we're talking about Hawker Beach. Our first OEM installation has taken place. During the build of the aircraft, the AFIRS unit was installed, the antenna was installed, and it's going to go operational December 5th. So that's very exciting for us that we actually have OEM installations and a live customer this year from an OEM installation.